everyone, this is Danielle, and I'm going to walk you through this form on how to log in or sign up for Ellevation. Ellevation is a program that we use that allows you to see your ESL students in your classroom, their LPAC plans, their ELPA 21 scores, basically any information that you would like to see about your ESL student. The great thing about using Ellevation as a classroom teacher is because you don't have to dig through the entire database to find your specific students. Ellevation links with eSchool and your eSchool schedule in secondary, so therefore once you log in, it will bring up a list of just your students in your class, and you won't have to dig through the database. We do keep the database very accurate, so you can always refer to the database if you have specific questions. So we'll start on the first page. You'll have access to this document. You can follow along if you'd like. But like I said, the teachers will have access to a class list of their ELs and all of those that have completed ESL. So one difference between the database and this login is that you will get to see who has previously been in ESL. So sometimes you might have a kid, you think, I wonder if they're an ESL student. This will give you access to see if they've already completed the ESL program. And you'll have access to their accommodations and modifications and what kind of services they're in. So the first couple of steps are pretty easy. If you don't already have an Ellevation account, you will go to that hyperlink right there. Remember, you'll have access to this form, and you create an account to register. So I'm going to click on it just so you can see what that looks like. And it literally will just have you type in your name and then set up a password, and then you will be able to create your account. Once you do that, you can schedule some follow-up training with Amy Moody, our ESL designee, if you just want someone to walk through it with you or to give you more information, but you don't have to do that. It's pretty self-explanatory once you get into the program. I personally recommend step 3, which is log in weekly. One thing about the database is we do update it frequently, but sometimes you don't know we update it frequently. And so if you log into Ellevation at least once a week, it will give you an alert in the top right corner, and it'll look like this little bell here, and it will tell you, it'll come up with like a little red 1 or 2 or however many notifications you have, and it will tell you if you have had new students added to your specific class. So it's a really great way to know if you have new ESL students in your class. And then the rest of the pages in this document are to review the key. It tells you how to use the site, what the buttons mean, things like that. So what I would like for you to do is when you get this document, I want you to click on that hyperlink right here, and it will take you to an ESL Google form where you'll just sign that you have been able to access Ellevation. If you already have an account with Ellevation, maybe you've already set it up, you just simply click on this link and you enter your password and it'll take you there. So if you have any questions about how to log in or your password isn't working, things like that, there's our office number or my email. Either one, I could very quickly reset your password. Okay, so now we go into the key. This is kind of the extra. The overall tips to keep in mind I put on here, your roster for Ellevation will be pretty close to perfect, but there may be students that are not correct on there. This is because Ellevation is linked with eSchool, so if your schedule isn't correct in eSchool or there's some funkiness with that, then your student schedule on Ellevation may not be exactly perfect. Remember that advisory students, you do not have to have ESL action plans. ESL action plans are required for ELs, for those that could possibly fail, that are DS, which means direct service, or T, which is transition, on the database. However, when you're looking in Ellevation, they'll be marked as LEP. So if they need an action plan, they'll have LEP by their name. I know a lot of you have seen like the alerts sometimes for special education and other alerts like checkout things on eSchool. Unfortunately, the State Department for ESL does not have a button like that, so this is the closest way you'll be able to get to just your kids in your class without having to dig. Your Ellevation roster also includes completed and monitored kids. These kids do not need ESL action plans. Okay, so on the main page, Like I said, you'll be able to check your notifications by clicking on the little bell icon in the top right corner. On the complete opposite corner, there's a button right by the title that says Student List. If you click on Student List, it will give you a page where basically all of your kiddos are listed, and out beside each kid, they will have their proficiency scores. For example, I've removed the student name and identification, but this is what's beside those kids. So here you can see, oh, this is a level 3. They're proficient in 2018. They were a former ESL kid, but the two below you see are progressing. And that LEP, remember, that means that they're currently ESL. And then there's another kid, the 4th kid on there, they've already completed everything. So in this, it's the difference between the top one's a monitor kid, the two middle are ESL, and the bottom one's someone who's already completed. More specific extra information, if you wanted to dig around and kind of find out some additional information about your students, maybe their test scores on the ELPA 21 or their services or their accommodations. At the top of the page on the student list, if you click on the word student, when you have that list up of the students, it will take you to a page specific for that very student you're looking at. So let's just say this is one. One's list right here will include demographics, schedule, test results, all these different things. So I'm going to take you through what each one of those tabs mean. On demographics, this is a really good one for classroom teachers because it shows you their home language, shows you their ESL information, maybe their country of birth. It's got lots of information. That is pulled from eSchool, so it's directly from there. It's not editable. It's not stuff that ESL Office has entered in. This is stuff that's pulled. Then you'll have a schedule button, which is exactly what it says. It's their school schedule according to eSchool. Then you'll have the test results button. This is where it will show you the ELPA 21 test results, and it will actually graph and show you their growth in each domain, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, throughout their historical times that they have taken ELPA. So it will literally show you if they go up or down or if they're maintaining. The descriptor tab is where you see what those levels mean. If they score a 4 in speaking, what does that actually mean? Or if they score a 2 in reading, what are they struggling with reading? Then you have the button LEP Services and Program. This button shows you exactly what services for ESL that the student is in, or historically what services that they have been in. So this button is really good to tell, oh, I have a kid in Language Academy, but have they always been in Language Academy? You can see how many years they've been in, or maybe it's their first year as transition and they've always had services and now they're struggling. You can see when they were transitioned. The next button is super important. It's Accommodations and Modifications. And so if you click this and then you click the drop-down menu for 2021, 2022, or whatever school year you're in, it will show you a list of what accommodations they have. So from this, that blue button, yes, you would have to click on each button of each kid to see these, but I'm going to show you a quick way in a second to get a whole comprehensive list of just the kids in your class and what their accommodations and modifications will mean. The last button are, well, there's actually two buttons, Notes and Documents. This is where you can see notes that ESL teachers may have written about the student, or you can see maybe some concerns. It's a place where teachers can write notes about things they're seeing. Something else you can see is like the Documents tab. That will have a link to their home language survey too eventually. We're uploading those right now, so that Documents tab will have lots of info pretty soon. So how do you print a quick list of just your students from your class with their accommodations? It's pretty easy, and it does this report for you. So you go back to Student List, and you click on that. Then you click on the Reports tab, and I've put screenshots in here so that way you know exactly what it's supposed to look like. You click on Reports, then you click on Reports again, and then when you arrow over, when you push this little arrow, it will come up with a button that says State Accommodations Report. It will bring up another window, and then all you do, you click Generate Report. That whole process probably takes less than 30 seconds, and it will give you a list of every single student in your class and their accommodations specific to them. So for this student, you can see they have extended time, word-to-word dictionary, small group testing, and text-to-speech, and that's literally a click of a button. So I encourage y'all to do that, to run that report every now and then. Like I said, it takes about 30 seconds, and that way you have up-to-date information on what students need in your class without having to go through the database. So I hope you have enjoyed this quick start for Ellevation. I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the top. Remember, your first to-do on your list is just to create an account, log in. From there, even though I've gone through all these instructions, it's really an easy, user-friendly site. It's self-explanatory. It will take you a couple of minutes to get familiar with it, but then from then on, you'll have all of that information at your fingertips without having to ask an ESL building specialist or the ESL supervisor. It's all right there for you to access. Just email me if you have any questions.